Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Welcome. Hello, lovely Orsi. Hello, lovely Ben.
Hello.
Hello,
everyone.
young Severus Snape.
Thank you. Thank you.
I know, Ben. I'm loving
Well, I'm
it.
glad it ended up as something because it's not what I intended it to be. It was supposed to be drag. Yeah. I'm going with Severus Snape because I think
young Severus Snape.
I quite like that.
Yeah, I'm the pale-faced zombie. After COVID attack, that's my costume.
And I'm going a slightly knackered teacher. So
that's a good one.
I just have to
How
say,
are you two? All right.
I love your intro, by the way.
I love the intro. Someone's watching Stranger Things.
Someone, yes.
Not me. It's not me. Who's the technical person in my household?
I'm thinking his name is.
It starts with a P. Oh, it's the cat.
Yeah.
No, he spent a little time. We spent a lot of time having a play about with different bits and pieces. So we thought we'd go with that. I'm sure there'd be other ones, but I quite like it.
It looks really cool.
Thank you. It reminds me of like a 1990s kind of psychological kind of
horror.
It's what you're going for, is it?
Everything's psychological 19. Well, thank you very much for coming on the channel today, because we're going to talk sort of, it's just a catch up, isn't it? But with a Halloweeny, Samhain vibe going on.
No. Can I put them somewhere? I'm going to put them here.
I love them. I need some Halloween decorations. I haven't got any, guys. And
this is my Halloween decoration.
I really love it.
I have my lovers on my shoulder.
Do they have a name?
Not yet. I got them on for my name day. I had it on the 21st. My family and them. This one is doing some meditation. These are together, and I have one with a raven.
Oh wow! You like skeletons, don't you, Orsi? I like that. I'm seeing a theme.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, where are you going, guys?
And Ben, how long did it take you to get in full young Severus?
So I practiced the other night because I thought, well, I've practiced. It was horrendous. I looked like someone had chucked a load of makeup on my face and it just fell off. It was terrible. So I thought, oh, I'll give it a second go. Because I was trying to get Dracula, but I looked like, I think the other night I looked a little bit like Danny LaRue, a bad version of Danny LaRue at a night out. And tonight hasn't been much better, to be honest. I think I look like a drag queen, and it's not the look I was going for.
But you look happy and cheerful, and I love that.
I love
it too. You see, so
what's the colour of your lips? What is that? People want
I put white. I had white face paint, but when I was brushing it brushed the white off. Although it does look pale, but it's like it's supposed to be a really dark red, but for some reason it's gone
pinky. Like
a little bit of a lipstick, isn't it? But it's just not.
It's blood. You should just say blood.
It's blood.
The blood of your enemies. So.
I love it. Thank you for making the effort and we welcome that along there, Tara. We welcome that.
Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. I managed to get sick. So in case you're not, you don't know, I had COVID. So that's why I'm like really underwhelming in this stream.
You're
slowly getting better, aren't you?
Yes, I mean, I have to. I'm starting a new job next week, so I really have to get better because.
It takes a while, though, doesn't it? How long have you had it for?
Officially about a week and a half, but I was getting better on Sunday. And then work made it much worse for Monday and Tuesday. So I was starting getting better yesterday again. So
yeah,
but I'm actually doing better now. So
is this your first time of having it?
Sorry?
Is this your first time of having COVID?
Yes, and I'm so mad. I managed to avoid this whole thing for 2 years, and then people who were not directly invited by us to my grandma's funeral. They felt the need to come and, bring some gifts after. It was my godmother that I haven't seen for 25 plus years. So I'm so happy you're here.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, plenty of rest, plenty of liquids.
Yes.
I have like cold medicine still, so
Take it easy.
yeah, of
Let's
course.
say hello to a few people. Ange
Yeah. Yeah,
came
sorry
in
guys, I can't
and
see.
went-
Yeah, I can't see the comments, so I'm so sorry if I miss someone because.
Don't worry. So Ange came in, said hello, left loads of lovely emojis, and went again.
Because
Ellie,
Angie's awesome.
my lovely Ellie, hello to you.
Hi, Ellie.
And she says hello to us all. Gerald is here. Hello, my lovely friends.
Gerald.
How are you? I hope you're doing well. I had a lovely chat with Gerald earlier on today, so I know he's doing very well. And Ren is here. So hello to you, my lovely.
Hi, Ren.
Hi, Lorraine. Great to see you here again. Thank you very much. And early for once. Absolutely.
We were late, so
we were having a bit of a chat, and it's been one of those days today. But oh, it's a funky start. Thank you so much. I hope you like it.
It was a funky start.
Nice intro. And Basil made it. Basil is here. Basil is right in front of me here. He hasn't left since I got back. But he also has some uninvited guests staying at the moment, if you get my drift.
Oh.
Yes. But I have to go to the vet and get that sorted out. But you'll be okay. Yes.
Yeah, I was saying me.
And yeah, look, Lorraine says, Ben, I hardly recognised you.
I know.
It's not having the beard.
It's the beard. It is. It's the beard. The beard's the big thing. I think that was hard to do. I was like, do I get rid of it? But I needed like, you know, when you just feel like you need a kind of, I don't know, you fancy a change, don't you? So I thought, I'm going to go for a change.
It's going to be a new thing now. It's kind of going to be.
No, it's only because
every day
I'm doing something as part of my channel with Tanji, which required me to shave the beard. I won't say any more than that. But yeah, so I will be growing it back once I've done the filming that I'm supposed to be doing. So.
Yeah, we like the stubble.
I miss the stubble. I must say, it's just not me. I don't feel
when
like.
It starts to grow back, it gets a bit annoying, isn't it? It kind of sticks.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But honestly, I don't know when beards came back in fashion, but I was like, yoo-hoo, because a lot of guys look really nice with beards. So I very much appreciated that guys. Exactly.
Yeah.
Do you hear that, Ben? Throw it back.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, but Ben looks good, you know.
With makeup, Orsi, you haven't seen me without the makeup. Not as good. No.
Susie Sue from Susie and the Banshees going on. I don't know if you remember them, Ben. You might be way too young.
No, I don't remember that. No.
The 80s. You got a hint of sort of slightly punky gothic vibe going on as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just going to fire lots of comments to you as it comes to me this evening.
Fine. It's fine.
Hello to you, my lovely, and it's a scary but always cute Ben.
Oh, thank you. That's so lovely.
And Spirit of Avalon is here. Hello to you, my lovely. Thank you for stopping by. Oh, it's Sandra, by the way.
It's Sandra. Yeah, I was thinking about that. I think Sandra renamed her channel.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's nice.
Because I've seen a video or a post about her Glastonbury things, and I was like, this sounds like Sandra, but I'm like, the channel name is different, but this sounds like Sandra. So
I like the name.
Yeah, I like it too.
Loving it. Yeah, you do need to up your game there, Gerald. I'll get.
I won't.
Peter to. I'll send one out there for you, but perhaps you won't get one to make one for you there. So, by the way, everyone, Gerald's having a birthday. Did you know that?
Yes.
Really?
He is, absolutely. I don't know how old he is, but he's still very, very young. But we're having a party next week.
Really?
That's enough said about that one. I'm sure talking about it later on. So there. Yeah. Lovely Debbie is here. Hello, my lovely Debbie. Hello to you. Anyone else here? Ren says, on my phone, so I won't be chatting much, but you're here, and that's lovely there. Torture Moon is here. Hi, Kathy. Oh, Basil is tail all over the place there. Oh, here we are. You look like Noel Fielding.
Noel Fielding. Oh. was watching some Mighty Bush video clips today, so because I'm watching Buffy, because for some reason Disney Plus here in Hungary has the first 2 seasons on. I don't know why just the first 2 seasons, because now I have to watch everything and I have to find them somewhere else. And obviously, if you hear The Chosen One, you're gonna. I mean, if you watch the Mighty Bush, you're gonna think about the Chosen One song. And I was considering posting that on my channel because the Mighty Bush is just brilliant, honestly. Noel Fielding is
So
like
I'm
one of my favorites.
I thought Noel Fielding was off the Bake Off, but obviously Gerald wouldn't know that, would he? Because he doesn't watch the Bake Off.
No.
That's who
Of
I
course,
thought
you
he
know,
meant.
but before that, he had, like the Mighty Bush. Maybe Google it.
I need to Google that.
If you haven't seen it, you should, because it's right up your alley. Honestly,
I've just outed myself and said that I've got crap taste in music if I don't know who this guy is. I need to look this up, don't I? Yeah, I'm gonna write that.
I mean, the sense of humor they had in that show, I think you would appreciate that. They were ridiculous. Like the Howard. Oh my God, Howard. I mean, I think the first 2 seasons was in a zoo with all the ridiculous animals and everything. So like, you really need to, because I even have the book. Like, I have all the DVDs. I have the book.
Oh,
Everything.
wow.
I just love the Mighty Bush.
There you go. That's your weekend sorted there.
Yes.
Channel name there, Sandra, and the picture looks. I'm going to have to investigate a little bit further there. I mean, I was just sending you lots of healing vibes.
Oh, thank you. I really do appreciate that.
And Gerald asked, "How do you feel about moustaches?"
If they are not porn stashes, because I'm not a fan of just the mustache, to be honest. That came after the whole beard thing. Everybody suddenly changed into just the mustache, and like some of those guys are like, you look like only like having a porn stash. Please don't. There are some guys who look good with that, but it's no. I'm more of a let's have everything guy.
Eddie says you look more like
the Cure. Yes.
Oh yes, I know now. I know.
Yeah. The right length.
Everyone's loving the name Sandra. It's going to take us an awful long time to get used to it. So it's fun.
It fits really well.
And he says, "Of course, I watch the Bake Off." It's kid over what he watches. He watches the Bake Off, but he doesn't watch some classic Hollywood films.
I can't. I mean, I've had this conversation with him, and he knows where I am with that.
Do you watch the Big Fat Quiz of the Year and decades and everything? Do you guys watch that?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Because Noel Fielding was in there with Richard Ayoade. I never know how to say his name. In my head, I know. Richard Ayoade. When they were paired up in there, that was brilliant. Honestly, I love those two. I mean, I know more about the British, like comedians and TV shows than you are, like Ben. Like, what is it? Honestly.
I know.
Especially because, I know that he would enjoy their sense of, I think IT Crowd, obviously. IT Crowd.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yes, he was a Richard the Vampire, I think, or something like that. he lived in the basement, and he was like, like old vampire and stuff like that.
There we go. We sorted the complication. Has the channel? Have you just changed the channel? I can't speak to that. Have you just changed the channel name, or is it a brand new channel? That's what I want to know.
I think it has to be in the name change, because I was subscribed, so I think it's just the name, because it was in my subscription box. I can't talk.
Have you all got a handle yet? YouTube are dishing out handles.
Yeah. And it's so funny, because my new channel, my second channel, which is like the tiny channel with like 40 people, I got the option on there first. I still didn't get on my main channel.
For those people that aren't with Facebook, YouTube, they bought these things out called handles, which is basically your channel name, but probably you can describe this a lot better. But basically, it goes in as an @ for me. I'm at.
Yeah, so yeah, your channel name, it's easier to link someone
So it's easy
from
to
now on,
in
because it's not gonna be like HX blah blah blah, but it's gonna be like and you can choose your name if you want to. So on Tiny Dragon Tarot, it's Tiny Dragon Tarot, but on my main channel, I'm sorry.
Sorry, I was asking Ben if he's had his yet. I jumped in there, or she apologized.
No, I haven't. No, I haven't.
They're gonna email you about it when it's ready and whatever.
Yeah.
And you just sit there. There's no one else called Beneficial Tarot.
Oh no.
Yeah, I mean, mine is Dragorshi for a while now. I got this name. I think after a certain subscriber, you got it before that.
Yeah.
But I kind of want to change it to Dragorshi Tarot, not just Dragorshi, I think. But I haven't got the option yet, so.
It should be coming next few days, Ben. Look out for it. You'll get an email.
Yeah.
You're going to get an email about it, and it's going to be like, oh, exciting.
It's fine.
I like him.
I've just been attacked by Basil.
Oh, he's excited.
Fleeing him again. He gets a bit funny anytime I get near him. He's like, I'm going to have to talk to the cat. Excuse me, everyone. You know, I don't sit there and be happy or get down. All right. Okay, you're sitting on the computer now, so it's making it really difficult for me. Okay. Sorry, everyone. Right. We have some more coming in. I can't put them up because the cat's sitting on the mouse at the moment, the computer. Right, let's get you. Thank you, Basil. You go sit on there. Simon is here. Hello to you, Simon. Hey up, everyone. So welcome. Well, hope you had a fantastic time in Glastonbury.
I've seen the live with Sandra, but I was in a shitty condition, so I didn't say hi. I was just watching, like oh, it's so beautiful, but I wasn't in the chat. But that was a really fun live.
You'll have to come. I'd say that.
Yeah. I mean, I really want to. I want to visit Scotland. I'm hoping to visit Scotland next year.
I'd like to visit Scotland. That's
at the same time.
Yeah, I want to.
Yeah, because I wanna, like do spiritual stuff. So I don't want necessarily to go with my normie friends. because I'm like, I would like to go into the forest and maybe do a ritual. It's just like, I mean, it's not really like, do you want to come with me to the forest and do some ritual?
Yeah.
So
come along on holiday with me and let's go and do this in an ancient tree.
Yeah, stone circle or something like that. So
as long as it's in summer, that would be fine.
A bit drafty.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm not planning really anything because I gave up planning after the last 2 years. I'm just hoping. I think that's my new way of looking at things.
Well, you've got this new job and new things happening. Here we go. This is the start of something new. I can feel it.
Yeah, I really don't want to be an adult and do these things. Like,
who does? It's horrible. It's a bitch show. Yeah, I mean, horrible.
I know.
You're right, Robin. We're all going to think of Sandra's the Whispering Well. It's going to take us an awful long time. But we'll get there.
You'll get there because I think it's a very fitting one. So I mean, if you watch Sandra's channel, you understand the change and where it's coming from. And I think I'm speaking for her right now, but just watching the content, I think it's a very obvious and very fitting choice. So
absolutely. I shall have to catch up with the videos and stuff, but I'm looking forward to it. Hi, Regina, who's working.
Sorry.
Everyone's looking fabulous. Spooky season. There's a good question. So we're going to start with talking a little bit. We've just got some chats about stuff, but the kind of Halloween-y theme. Now, I haven't prepared you before, so I've come up with some questions that we can discuss. You can think about them, come back to them. But here's my first question to you two. What is the spookiest place you've been to?
That's a good question.
A hospital, an ER in the middle of the night. It can be a very, very spooky one.
It can be very spooky.
Especially if you're laying in bed and you don't know what the noises are and the shuffling. So I think a hospital. That would be mine.
Busy places that suddenly go quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah, ERs don't really go quiet because
Yeah.
there's always someone coming in the middle of the night. But there is some eeriness when it's happening because, you know, some people try to stay quiet. Some don't care and just turn off every light. And you're like, thanks for, you know, thinking about other people. But when they are trying to be, hi, John.
Hi, Joan.
It can be spooky. Yeah.
Joan says, I work in a hospital and it's haunted besides being creepy.
I'm sure. Like,
report to that.
I think
a
hospital. Yeah, hospital is more haunted than a cemetery. I feel like
I think so.
people always get freaked out about cemeteries, but I'm like, most of the people there lay, you know, like in peace, rest in peace, in a hospital when they actually die in sometimes horrible ways.
A lot of people talk about hospitals, you know. Of course they do. I mean, they're not going to die in a cemetery, are they? But you know what I mean.
I mean, you never know, but yeah, I hope I'm not.
They're just buried there. But yeah,
I don't want to get buried actually. Like,
no, I'd hate.
If I could be, I would just be like throw up the body. I don't care, but you know, you can't do that legally. But I mean, my hope is I don't want to be morbid or you know anything, but the way my grandma died, at home, falling asleep.
Yes,
like that's
the way we go because that's
I like it. I don't want to die in a hospital. Like, please don't make me.
You want to die surrounded by your tarot decks, of course. You know that would be.
And you're pulling cards and it's
tarot decks falling on top of you.
There's a death card.
Yeah, exactly. Oh no.
Yeah.
Death by
That's
tarot.
kind of oof.
Yes. Death by tarot.
Death by tarot.
What's the spookiest place you've been to?
Me?
Your bedroom. Sorry.
No, unfortunately it's not. But I would say I live near some woods, and me and my friend when we were kids, we used to go to these woods because there used to be a swing that you could off like this massive old tree, and it was getting the nights were getting darker, and we used to walk back through these woods. And the one night we got caught in the woods when it was pitch black. And I remember we were absolutely petrified because we were walking back and it sounded like somebody was following us. And like you could hear these footsteps and it freaked us out. Anyway, we both love ghost stories. So we were like, let's go back tomorrow night and see if anything else happens, which is the stupidest thing to do.
Maybe you die or get murdered.
I know. And I was petrified. But she took a camera with her because she found out, she'd read it up on the internet because it was a really weird woods. It just felt so weird at night. It just felt like you weren't alone. And I know woods are quite creepy places, but you just had an overwhelming fear of dread at night. And apparently it is haunted. And so there's like stories of like half men, half ape creature roaming this woods. And I was like,
I would never sleep again, honestly.
So
living near that.
I know, it freaked me out. So we went to the woods and something was following us again the second night. She took loads of pictures and it freaked us out that much. We ran out of the woods into this field and we both turned around and we both saw somebody or something walking and it was like this, like along the side. And I don't know, looking back, whether we were so freaked out by the story. You know, your mind plays tricks on you. So anyway, we got back and she developed the photos. And the next day, these photos were absolutely covered in orbs. And there wasn't just white orbs. There was there was red orbs and all sorts. And it was really funny. But since then, I've never been there at night since I was a kid. But my dad goes painting a lot. And he was standing, there's a bridge in the middle of these woods, this lovely fancy bridge. And he said that he was painting away because it's by a canal. And he looked up and he saw someone coming towards him. So he thought, I'll put my paints away. And then he looked back and they completely disappeared. And he said there was nowhere for them to go. And it was just really spooky. But other people have said that they've walked past those woods when it's getting dusk and they felt very uncomfortable there. It's just weird, really weird thing. So that's the creepiest place. You know, when you go to a place and you just have an overwhelming fear and you don't know why you're scared of it.
I changed my mind. I don't want to do a ritual in the woods.
No.
Change my mind.
No, I don't blame you.
Okay, no. Gonna be a ritual in the room somewhere.
How old were you then when you did that?
I would have been about 14, 15.
You should have known better.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that explains it all then.
Yeah.
Teenage energies.
Wow. Yeah. And I don't know why we did it, because it was so stupid to go back there. Because you know, it could have actually been a person. You don't know, do you? But
yeah. I mean, if you think about it, everybody did. I mean, we did that. That was not wooden area, but like more overgrown. It's a very nice square now with the BMX, whatever, street line. But there was a guy who worked security at some construction site, and he was living in a trailer. And we kids, like we were, I don't know, 7, 8, something like that. We, had these adventures through these really bushy, abandoned areas, and we went and visited him in his trailer. And fortunately, nothing happened. But now at this day and age, I would be like, don't even think about going anywhere near anybody who lives in a trailer. So I mean, good thing nothing happened, because we were really outside playing all day, every day, without any supervision, because it wasn't needed. But these days, like, I'm gonna go at you with a shotgun or something. So
I mean, can I share one story? It's very quick.
If I can sleep after that, please. If not, I'll just give me a second. I'll go somewhere.
This really freaked me out at the time. So it was really weird. My cousin had a horse, and they had a trailer in this field, and she'd go horse riding. And she was horse riding, and her dad had to go and get something from the shop or something. And she said, "Oh no, it's fine." She said, "I'll just go in the trailer." Anyway, she was I think she was with the horse or something, and she looked over, and there was a man staring at her in the field next door, and he was just standing in the middle of the field, just staring right at her. She freaked out because he was just looking at her and not saying anything. And she ran into the trailer. There was no reason for him to be there. There was nothing around. It was like really country. Rang her dad. Dad came down, and there was nobody in the field. So they went and had a look, and they found these boot prints in the field, but nothing around it. He hadn't walked off in any direction. It was just in one set of footprints in the field. It was free. Yeah, it was really that really spooked me. That did, because it was like she was adamant there's someone there, looking at her. But yeah.
Richie, what was your spookiest?
Yes, Richie.
I mean, I've told my story about my theatre ghost. But that is the spookiest thing that's ever happened to me. Yes, it freaked me out, and yes, I'm pleased that I can say in my book I've seen a ghost. But there is a modern building that they've just built, which freaks me out. There's a part of it. We have a brand new Cineworld complex that they've built in the town. And it's really lovely. And it's right on the top of the shopping centre here. It's got 9 screens. It's all lovely and comfortable. Beautiful. Now, I have the smallest bladder in Christendom, which means that when I need to go, the moment the film starts, I instantly need to go to the toilet. So rather than going all the way down the stairs and out into the foyer and all that, I quickly just nip up the back where there's a disabled toilet. And all the cinemas are linked by one corridor, which is also a fire exit. It's got a disabled toilet on it. I swear the corridor is the scariest thing that anyone can create. It's grey. It's very enclosed. It's silent. All you've got is all the back of the projection screen boxes. It's got that really nasty kind of fake marbled floor. It's very bright light, and it's one of those corridors because there's nothing else along there. You can imagine someone coming for you. It is the thing of nightmares, and I can't believe that in this modern day that they make a corridor that is so hideous that would just play on anyone's imagination. So much so that when I go to the toilet, I have to talk to myself on the way back.
Oh, that sucks. I know the feeling. Yeah. Oh God. Yeah.
Yeah, it's horrible, isn't it, when you have that? Your mind just goes overdrive as well, doesn't it? With things. Wow.
Yeah, sometimes I did that in the garden. Like it was really like full moon or something, and I went outside and I was like, oh, after a while, like, yes, the trees are really tall, and I'm gonna just slowly go back inside the room because your mind starts filling out the shadows with horrible things. Yeah, that's why I don't watch horror movies because I like to sleep, and after something like that would happen, I don't think I would ever sleep. So please, I don't want to be visited by anything like that. Vampires still, but
Oh, I could cope with all vampire stuff. It's that kind of, it's this kind of corridor where what the effect would be in cinema. When they would pan backwards but zoom.
Oh yeah.
Is that you can just imagine someone dressed as a clown at the end of it.
Do you guys remember in this country we had clowns, didn't we?
Yeah.
America.
A couple of years ago, there was a big spooky clown.
Yeah. Oh, that was scary. That was because that was actually happening to people, wasn't it? They were just seeing clowns on the road and stuff.
People just turn up, will dress up in kind of creepy clown costumes and just stand there or walk down the road. And there was a thing. It was
why?
It was a genuine thing. People would just drive. They'd drive down the highway, not the highway. That's America. The motorway, and there'd be like someone standing there in a clown suit, just staring, and they would chase some cars.
Yeah.
And were they surprised when they were beaten up? Because that would be something that I would maybe support because.
Can I ask you,
people are so assholes.
Do you have funny? I've had some strange dreams this week that really freaks me out, and it's like like they say the veil's thin, don't they? But I had a dream the other night, and when you feel it's real. Have you ever had that where it's so real?
I know I had past life dreams that I know were. So I know the feeling. Yeah. Do you want to talk about it?
Yeah, do you want to talk about it, Ben?
I mean, what it was, I was in bed the other night, and I thought there was a woman standing at the side of my bed, and I thought she was looking at me like that, and then she'd got a scalpel in her hand, and she was about to do this to my face, and it scared me that much. I threw myself back onto the side of the bed because I actually thought this woman was in my room. And then I realised that there was nobody there because I looked around and there was nothing there. But it was just so real, and I was like, but it must have been a dream. But it was just like one of those things.
Telling yourself that.
I did look at the bed.
I mean, I had I had a similar one that I know that it couldn't be. It couldn't have been a dream because I used to have my room. In a way that I had a gallery and I was sleeping on top of everything, and I had my TV at the end of my mattress, because I was sleeping on a gallery, not an actual bed. And I still remember how scary it was. I woke up because I felt like someone was pulling me into the TV, and I woke up actually like I was trying to I was grabbing the whatever it's called, the bed sheet, so that it still gave me the goosebumps because it was just so fucking real. I felt that something was pulling me in, and I swear to God that I was lower than
it's horrible, isn't it?
I normally sleep, and I was grabbing and holding on to the sheets like for my life pretty much. So I moved the TV and I never slept anywhere near it because that was just so scary. And that was before I started doing any spiritual. It wasn't like I was dabbling or anything. It was just a dream, but it's one of those that you wake up and you're like, no, there was something here. Because
what about you, Richie? Have you ever had anything like that?
That's the scariest thing ever.
I'm really bad at remembering my dreams.
You would remember. I mean, I still remember the feeling.
I know I have had dreams in the past. particularly after watching one or two. I watch a lot of horror films, and they don't tend to freak me out. And then occasionally one comes along after 5 years, and it does freak me out. The Ring did that one.
Yeah,
that was my last one, I think.
Babadook as well as another one that one. And so I will have a dream about that one that will wake me up in the middle of the night. But that's just because of the film. I don't have any.
Yeah, no, I it was after I stopped watching, I think, horror movies. So it was nothing. And like Ben said, it was just so real that, you know, you wake up and like this. So yeah, like, oh God, no.
I'm going to come back to that in a minute, but I'm just going to read through because lots of people put in their scared. Gerald says the scariest place I've been is my mind. I was in a church basement and the lights went out. That is pretty scary. Yeah. And he also got the idea of decks falling on me. We're really behind in the chat, but apologies for those people that I've missed out. Robin says the scariest thing, a poltergeist punch in the side of my microwave. That would make a really good song title, wouldn't it?
Yes.
Me in the side of my microwave.
That's a band name, actually.
Yeah.
But yeah, the poltergeist does sound like a really angry.
Yeah.
Frightening at the time, isn't it, when that kind of thing happens? So I'm sorry for making light of it if that was, truly scary. Yeah, that does sound like the back room. So hello, Tony. Hello to everyone there that's joined us. I'm just catching up on the chat. The Living Dead this week and then went to bed. It was awesome.
I believe you watched that, Charles.
You have Buffy's mentor with you tonight, or is she? Librarian Giles brought back for the evening. There you go.
I mean, I even found this one on the shelf, the Watcher's Guide. So I can be, you know, like my teenage years.
And Tony says that you're starting astral projection there.
Could be.
Hi, Kristen. Hello to you.
I don't know. It was scary, like.
And Micah's here.
Hi, Micah.
Hello to you there. And Joe says it was a
of course. That's right.
Of course.
There you go.
Yeah.
We are up to date. I hope I haven't missed out anyone with their comments there. What I was going to ask you before we did that is you're talking about your dreams and things like that. When you started your pathway, whether it's tarot, whether it's other things there, did your fears and anxieties that came out somehow play on your mind when you started your tarot journey or your ventures into the world, or was it like, no, I'm going to put that to one side and just ignore it and carry on? Has it ever does it keep lurking in the back of your mind when sometimes you do stuff?
You mean as in doing a reading and maybe
if you do a reading, you're doing a ritual or something like that at all, do you sometimes think, oh, I don't know, I'm not happy about doing this? Or do you ever go back to that time when something weird happened to you and you're kind of a bit, I don't know, perhaps just on a bit of an edge about the whole thing?
Do you want to start?
Yes, I used to play Ouija boards when I was 16, a lot. And I was just very intrigued. Me and my friend were very, very intrigued by it. And we got to the point where it was spelling out full-on sentences and things like that. But it wasn't just like words. But it scared me because I'd grown up being told that they were the work of the devil. Don't mess with Ouija boards. Don't mess with tarot cards and all this.
Yeah.
It took me a very long time to drop that feeling of, you know, what I was brought up with.
Okay.
Is that what you mean, Richard? Because
exactly.
I did feel bad.
Yeah.
Even tarot cards, I went back to tarot cards multiple times and then ended up just chucking them out because I felt like I shouldn't be messing with this kind of stuff. But, you know, my grandparents were always like, oh, no, don't mess with things like that. But there's something that kept pulling me back to it, and I don't know whether it's just because I'm curious, you know. Hi, Kelly. But yes, I did have those feelings of where I'm not sure I should be doing this, and am I messing with things that I don't really understand, and am I opening doorways that I don't know how to close? My friend was very interested in witchcraft, not in a bad way, like white witch. She wanted to be a white witch, but that scared me slightly because I was like, oh, you know, the craft, things like that. You know, when you're young, that's what you think. But I think there's so much material now around that you can read up on it, and I see it totally different now to the way I saw it 15 years ago.
100 years ago.
Yeah, it's 100 years.
You're a vampire, so.
He's looking younger by the day. He's actually.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm going to be a baby by the end of his life. So.
Yeah, so for me, it wasn't because I didn't grow up with, nobody told me that tarot was from the devil, or I grew up in a very open-minded household. I didn't really know about tarot. There was, card reading really was that what gypsy people did here. That's their thing, and there's a certain kind of cards and readings how they do and how they read. That I don't think you can really learn. You kind of inherit that thing by blood. Yeah. That's my the thing, that there are some really psychic people, and that runs in the family, in certain families. So for me it wasn't a hurdle that I had to go through, and I kind of wish that I was paying more attention to people when I started, who said that you need to do some protection just so that your energy doesn't get drained. Because before I started putting up mental, I have a pentagram that I do, a mental, like erect stones, and then I like protect myself and leave myself open to knowledge and stuff like that I do before I do readings now. I got really, really tired easily when I was doing live readings and stuff like that, even videos. Yeah. And then, some people mentioned that, hey, you should do something like that because that's useful. And I was like, you know what? I will try, even though I kind of felt weird because sometimes you just start something new and you feel a bit ridiculous. Like,
I used to feel like that.
I'm erecting mental like stones in my head. I'm sitting on a pentagram now and stuff like that. So, but it's a second nature now before I start doing so. And that's just a small thing. But I got myself this book because the lovely Giselle recommended this one as a starting book for witches, because I really want to go down the witches path. Like I want to do witchcraft, and I want to be a witch, not a bitch. I can be that without a book. But it's a modern guide to witchcraft.
Oh, I like the look of that.
And it just looks so lovely, and of course I got sick after getting it, so I had no time to actually read anything like that. But if you look at it, it kind of looks like, I don't know if you can see that, like it's not cut evenly, so it kind of feels like an old book. And I read the intro online because I was like, I'm not paying for a book if I don't like it. And I really like the take that this author seems to take on witchcraft, which is, connecting to nature. It's like, it starts with the, so you want to be a witch, huh? Which I like. Like, yeah, kind of. So I like the style. So, but other people like Emily, Emily's Tarot and Magic. I never know her, like channel's name. She mentioned in multiple videos that how protection is important. So I kind of feel like now I'm more aware of things, but I kind of know where to start to protect myself as well. So I don't feel like I want to dabble with anything like Ouija boards. No. We did that once in a summer camp. We were playing around with not me personally, but girls in the room. When there's a bunch of teenagers, what you do, you start playing with ghost shit, and that was scary. And I would never touch that. That's something for some reason that I think Ouija boards are the things that can give access to certain entities or energies that you don't want to communicate with.
Exactly, and I think you're right. It's the kind of thing that's what put me off Ouija boards. I had a couple of experiences when I was younger. Thing, bit of alcohol flowing. Let's have a bit of fun. Let's do this. And before you know it, you've got yourself potentially a problem if you're going to freak out about it and not close things down. And you're absolutely right. I do exactly the same. I'm very cautious of grounding. I'm very cautious of little protective things, bits and pieces, just
like
even if it's mentally, I'm closing down this session. That's it. That's it. Just as important as carrying an armful of amulets and like that. And I'm very conscious now of just taking time at the end to open up the situation, but also to make sure I'm protected and closed down as it is. It's really interesting. Fantastic. If any of the mods can put a link into that book or into chat, I think people are interested in that one.
I got it from Book Depository. It was on sale recently, so maybe it's still it's New Age.
Debbie says, I got a set of rosary beads for my first communion that freaked me out. One bead glowed in the dark. No one told me you'd find them in the dark. That would freak me out, I think. Yeah. And chances are, seeing a rosary with just one glowing bead, I'd be creeped out by that.
Same.
Yeah. Ren said, cutting board in the kitchen is a Ouija board.
There are people who can do that and they're not gonna get bothered or anything, but I feel like for me, exactly, for some reason I put that idea. I think I watched too many horror movies back then and all of them had Ouija boards and they were all communicating with evils. And maybe that's just in my head, but when you start looking at things like with that perspective that it's gonna be the devil,
I think the trouble is with Ouija boards, most people that use them are teenagers and they don't know how to use them properly. And I think that's the problem. That's why they have bad experiences. Because you speak to anybody and I was like, oh yes, I remember when I was a teenager I used to play on them. And like same with you, like alcohol's always involved and that's never a good mix, is it, when you're trying to but I don't know how I feel about them because I'm kind of still intrigued by the fact that you're communicating with something and how does that's what fascinates me. How does that happen? But I don't think they're to be messed with. I think you need to do it with someone that understands.
And I think that is part of the problem. I've got a very addictive personality. So when the first time it worked and it was spooky and wonderful, we went back the next night and the next night and the next night, and until it got a little bit just too easy, a bit comfortable, and it should never be like that as well.
Can you tell us what happened, Richie?
A couple of times we did. I did it with a friend. I'm not going to mention names and stuff, but it was about the property that we lived in, and we were attached, picking up. I can't really remember, but it was the spirit of people that lived in the property beforehand. And I remember someone getting a bit freaked out by it, and either the glass fell over or it turned over or she knocked it over or something like that happened. And in the bathroom, we were in the main room, in the bathroom, the radio switched on and nobody was in there.
Oh gosh, that's scary.
And that's like, that's a message.
That's too much.
That's like, okay, you've made your point. Thank you very much. We'll deal with that one. And there was other bits of university. I don't want to go into it because there was a bit of a strange thing that happened about the time that a lot of people may have. It's quite familiar. I'll talk to you perhaps later about it. But it was really strange little connections, and I'm thinking this works a little bit too well for me, and I'm not.
I know what you mean.
I find it very interesting, but I also know that
there's something more in them.
Not for me to go any further. But Gerald says spirit boards aren't bad. You just got to know how to use them. Absolutely, I couldn't agree more there. Mike says I've designed Ouija boards, but I don't use them. That's interesting.
Cool.
I love the look of them.
Yeah, same.
Side of it
and I wholeheartedly I believe that they work. I think it's too easy to get in touch with someone whom you might not want to, because I kind of feel like if you do a reading with a tarot deck with, like you want to do a reading with the ancestors or, something like that, it's still doesn't necessarily someone that you know.
Yeah.
But it kind of, there's a layer of protection, and I don't know, I kind of feel like a Ouija board is easier to jump on and, backdoor the whole thing.
Yeah.
Show me the book again. Okay.
Sky Alexander.
Yes, that's the name.
You're quite right. I think it is easy to do. And again, I'm not dismissing of it. I know probably a lot.
Sorry, I have a picture of it on my Instagram, so you can check it out. Everybody who wants to.
Sorry, I'm allowed to write them for a moment. Yeah, it's easy to jump in and say, if I was going to have that communication, I would probably go to a spiritualist or a medium and want to go in that way. I feel.
Yeah. It's not controlled on a Ouija board, whereas I think when you've got a psychic, they control it better what comes through, don't they? That's the difference. Oh, wow.
I mean, that's the thing. Ouija boards were made as a board game back in the 50s, 60s, and 60s and 70s. You could buy them. So. And
I thought, Richie, they were banned here for years, but
I don't know so much as banned. I don't think. I know that they were quite freely available, which is why we always used to do it with letters on bits of paper around the table, and that.
You couldn't buy one though, could you?
Ours were like that too, homemade.
No. Yeah.
Axe here, hello. Agree, Ouija boards like opening a door that if you're not properly prepared to, you may not be able to close unaware of what you've let through. Yeah.
I completely, like I know people, there are people who can handle and they know how to do it properly. It's just not me. And I don't think I want to go down that road anyway. At least not this moment.
Yeah. Regina's just asked a wonderful question. I'm going to star it and we're going to come back to it in a moment, if that's okay. Because people are talking about Ouija boards, but Regina, we will come back to that one. I agree about Ouija boards. I don't like that type of energy. Isn't it strange that people have just got that feel for it?
Everybody I speak to is exactly the same reaction.
Yeah.
Most people anyway.
Yeah.
Robin says, I recall Alice Cooper saying that he came up with the name Ouija board and it was a dead witch. Oh.
Yeah, I think I heard that.
Okay.
Oh.
I mean, there are people who mess with these things and they're okay with that, but
you're quite right, Ren. And I've noticed this year around Halloween, there's lots of Ouija boards on bags,
pillows,
and kind of that creepy aesthetic, which is great, which is lovely to have around. I don't quite know whether you can actually use a cushion cover to contact this past life, but it's done as aesthetic. You're absolutely right, and that's
you could do a tarot reading on a like 78 piece of paper with just the numbers on it. So I would assume that
they have it on handbags.
Pillow can be used.
Yeah. Emma's here and just saying was never bothered by
That's
it.
good.
I was 11, no demons. Yeah.
That's good. Like, I don't know what we contacted with to whatever, when we were in that summer camp, and maybe it was just us fueling each other's fears. But even if you just do that, it's still something that leave you, especially if you're in an unfamiliar place. I find it always find it very hard to not sleep in my own bed. I really like my bed, and I really like sleeping in it, and I really don't like sleeping anywhere else. So and I think I was like that when I was younger as well. So it's already that added. Oh, I'm supposed to sleep in a room where there's like 20 girls, and like it's a summer camp. It's like it sucks. And there are girls who are like, oh, and there's gonna be like Bloody Mary, and that was the other one. Like, let's try Bloody Mary in the middle of the night.
Oh
Like,
gosh, yeah.
maybe she appears. And I'm like, why? Why
It's
are we
that
doing
whole
this?
game of
Oh,
air, isn't it, that goes on?
Yeah.
I don't think I actually dared to say it 3 times. I think I stopped after 2 because it
Oh
was just
no.
I was so scared. Like I was standing in the middle of the night in a bathroom looking into the mirror, and you're like, what am I doing here? I was never that brave type. So
No, me neither.
I just read Robin's comment about there's a great film made in the 40s called The Uninvited, when they used Scrabble tiles in a circle and inverted
oh
one.
god.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And we used to have a game called Lexicon in the 70s or 80s, which were just letters on cards, and you could put those out around the circle,
Oh.
spelling stuff out. I remember doing that one there.
I mean, it's funny because I kind of do similar things in pick a card readings. When you're just pulling out letters and the numbers, you're like, hey, maybe you see a name and it's something that means something, and that's completely fine. But when I think about it as a Ouija board, I'm like, no. So it might be just in our heads.
We're going to move on to Regina's question, which is, did anyone ever see a ghost and were you freaked out by it?
I think, but she's asking if we freaked out the ghost.
Yeah. Oh, I see. Did anyone freak a ghost out? I'm not quite sure.
I think I kind of did, actually.
Yeah.
Not freaked out, but I didn't see my grandpa's ghost. I just felt he was in the room because I was sleeping in their old room. That was their old bedroom before, like 20 years before. So, but I guess when he died, he just remembered because he came into the room, he walked up to, and like I was on the gallery, so I didn't see anything, but I just felt him, and I heard the floor creaking. So that was, but I just knew it was him. So I wasn't scared because I immediately, when it happened, I just knew that he was there. But I also knew that he wasn't there for me. He was looking for my grandma. And turns out next night, she had a dream with him. So he kind of come back to say goodbye, which was kind of, because you might have not think that, that relationship was something where he wanted to come back to say goodbye, but he did. And I think, because I was reading when he appeared, and, I think he just, like appeared in the room, took a few steps, he realized that the beds were not there. So, things were not where it was supposed to be. And I guess I just moved or something, because then suddenly he wasn't there. So you could take that as I freaked out my grandpa's ghost. But so, and my grandma is not someone, she was it's so weird to say that she died. She was Catholic, I think, one of those things. So she wasn't like spiritual. She was just like an everyday, I believe in God and heaven and hell, but it's not something that I think about a lot. And I don't think, so she wouldn't talk about something like that, dreaming about him and him saying goodbye to her. It wasn't something that she would say. That's why I know it was real, because it was so out of place for her, or out of character for her, that she even mentioned it. It was just, so
Yeah.
Wow.
I just noticed people's comments. Simon says that's kind of how we did it in those days with the Scrabble tablets there. And not long after my dad died, my mum, sis, and I were in the living room when wooden trim over the bay window fell down. Lucky they weren't injured. I said, that's Dad telling us to till the house up.
I mean, you never know.
We never know. That leads us on to a really good question. I think we may have already answered it, but perhaps we need to revisit it. Do you think that I'm going to use the word supernatural for whatever you intend it to be here. Do you think that the supernatural world has been in contact with you at various points?
Yes.
So we've answered that one, haven't we? And
definitely.
do you think that the messages that you get are clear, or are they just mystifying, or just comforting, or?
No, I don't think they're clear for me. And I'll tell you the way I describe it to people is that my flashlight doesn't work very well. And some people have a very good flashlight that does work very well, because I see things, I hear things and I feel like I'm getting things, but I'm always questioning whether it's actually just me thinking it. So I can't tell the difference sometimes with my own thoughts and whether actually maybe I am communicating with somebody. But I do dream a lot all the time. I dream every night, and I know a lot of people don't say it, but weirdly, I bought a crystal ball last year and just for decoration and put it by the bedside, and someone told me that the crystal opens you up more to things, you know. And I have had more vivid dreams since I've had that by my bed. But yeah, I do think I always think something's trying to communicate with you, whether it's
Do you have a dream journal? Do you keep track?
No.
Because I think you should, because if you know that, you know, your dreams might want to tell you something, maybe if you start writing them down, maybe you will see a pattern.
Yeah, true. But no, yeah, sometimes sometimes I wake up and I think there's people talking and there's nobody there, and then then it goes, because I think, I've just been dreaming, like, you know. And when I was younger, I used to hear people whispering and stuff, and then you'd think, as soon as I realised, it stopped.
So, is that one of the clairvoyant? Which one is that?
No, it's not something that's happened a lot.
Because it never happened to me when I was a child. So, you know, it's definitely something there for you, you know, if you
do you know what, guys? I honestly think, for me, I watched that many horror films as a kid. It scared me so much that I think I closed myself off to it. But I do think, you know, I'd always believed in it as far back as I can remember. But because I watched horror films so early on, I think I cut myself off from it totally.
Could be.
That's what I think.
I mean, for me, it's usually clairaudient, of course. Logical. For me, it happened more since I started practicing my spirituality, whatever. I don't know how to do it. It always feels like potentials, like spirituality, whatever. Since I started doing tarot, I think I'm more open to these things, because there were. And I usually get feelings that I know that someone was here or something was there. And I try to be like, okay, everything is, you know, cool. Take whatever you wanna, just, you know, like. But I never heard anything like Ben when I was growing up. But before my grandma died, there was 2 weeks that her health really got bad, and. One of the nights, I woke up because someone shouted my name, but nobody shouted my name. But I woke up and I was like, and then I was like, no one's talking. It's the middle of the night. And I got the feeling that, you know, maybe I should check my grandma. And she fell off the bed that night, the first time, because we got a different bed after that for her, because, you know, she wanted to go out and she was weak and she fell off the bed. But my mom told me that about 30 minutes before I went and realized that she was, you know, in trouble, she was there. She woke up and she listened and she couldn't hear anything. So she, you know, she didn't notice that there was something wrong. So maybe because I'm more open to these things now in the household currently. So someone who was watching over her came to me and woke me up, so I would go and check on her and realize that there was something. And because it wasn't a scary feeling, but I just knew that I was woken up. Someone said clearly it was Orsi. It wasn't like, oh, she was there, Orsi. No, it was like, wake up, that kind of thing. And first you're like, what's happening? So, and I thanked them, and I was like, you know what, if needed, please shout me. Please shout at me in the middle of the night, because someone was clearly looking out for her. And I don't know who that was actually, because I think it was a female voice. And I don't know, because her relationship with her family wasn't that close, so I don't think it was her mom or anything like that. So it was very interesting. So
Yeah.
I agree.
What about you,
So
Richard?
I've only been woken up a couple of times in the last year, actually, and one, I think I've spoken to you about this before, Ben. I was woken up by, over the course of 2 nights, actually, one by the sound of a little boy laughing, and I know that's quite a common thing for most haunted programs and all those paranormals to say, oh, I can hear a little. But yeah, I mean, I don't have children.
Was it scary? Did it make you feel scared?
I don't get scared by things like that. I'm interested enough, and I'm actually able just to try and think a little bit logically. And I think if I allowed my brain to wander off into the ones, then it would be scared. But I actually okay, and I'm actually really at that time thinking, what was that? And is there anything I can put it down to being other than
a little boy?
Giggle, you know what I mean? That sort of thing. I've never heard it since. It's not like it's a regular. We don't have children living anywhere around us, so it's not going to be that kind of thing. Perhaps more frightening was the next night. I think it was the next night or a couple of nights later. I woke up with the sound of a man screaming.
Oh God, that was
this is horrible.
And it was enough to wake me up.
Yeah,
there's like salt everywhere, like sage.
It reminded me a little bit of like the 9 of Swords. It was that kind of, I'm in bed rocking. It wasn't just I've just hit my thumb with a hammer. It was
Did Peter hear it, Richie? No, it's strange, isn't it?
He was
at least you have someone that you can grab on, like hold on to.
He'd think I was absolutely bananas if I did.
Yeah, but still, you would feel safe. So it's like, I'm sorry, honey, I love you, but I need you.
Right, I know that I'm safe where I live. I know there's no intruders.
Yeah.
Logically, I am safe. Whatever.
Yeah, but we're not talking about logical things.
I made that up. And I'm like, but I wasn't having any vivid dreams. So it wasn't like my dreams were tying in with what I heard and woke me up that way, because that's happened a couple of times in the past. So that wasn't anything to do with that. But one thing that's really weird is I've woken up with a really strong perfume smell. Almost like someone squirted perfume in my face. A really floral kind of thing. And that's woken me up before. And that I find very peculiar, because to my knowledge, people don't tend to dream in smells.
No.
In their dreams. I mean, can you
does it remind you of anybody?
I would say it's definitely a female smell. So I would assume it's either my mother or a female relative, or perhaps somebody that lived in the property.
Yeah.
But it's pleasant, it's calming, but it was enough to make me actually almost gag it, like, waking up like that. And also instantly then it's gone. It's not like it's hanging around.
It doesn't linger.
Okay, enough to wake up. But that's really what it has been. And that's fascinating. I haven't had that for a long time. But a bit like you, Orsi, I'm very much open now to rather than going, did I see that or am I making stuff up? I actually just kind of embrace it a bit. So it's like quite often if I see an orb out the corner of my eye, I don't go, oh, there's an orb and make a big song and dance. Go, oh, you're welcome. If you are a positive force, welcome.
I talk to them.
That's affirmation rather than a big song and dance and try and track it down and get stressed out by it. I'm just like, if you're here and you mean well, you're welcome. If not, go. It's that kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying not to be freaked out because there was this summer. There was one time when I left the room, came back, and one of the blankets that was on a wooden box, it was on the floor. So I was like, hey, that wasn't me. It didn't fall off. It was, you know, you can see when something is pulled off because it gets in a different shape. And I was like, if you want to play with the blanket, like, cool. Like, I don't mind. Like, I think it was the Fae. I kind of felt like when that happened, it was the Fae. I don't know why. But it only happened, like, there was 2 incidents within a few days, and then was nothing after that. But, you know, it's not, I don't want to put this out, you know, it's not a challenge.
Yeah.
Please, I like sleeping. I don't want to get freaked out.
Exactly. Don't need to have any more. Thank you very much.
No, I'm good. Exactly.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised by how calm I keep about it. But then it doesn't happen that often. And I just think, well, that's part of the world that I coexist in. So therefore, things like that happen. And we will probably pick it up and stuff. And sometimes I'm probably more susceptible to hearing it. It might be happening all the time, and I just don't.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not tuned in enough to hear it. So there we go. I'm just going to catch up with the chat because there's some lovely comments in here. Mike said, I choose to keep any possibility of the other side closed. I don't want to know yet. And I think, absolutely. Jane says, that's absolutely understandable. And I think that's a really nice.
And you don't need to. I mean, you can do tarot and do all these things without, you know.
The wee young thing. Really. Wait till you're older. You've been working up every.
I mean, that sucks.
I'm there already, Chris. I'm there. You missed the earlier bit when I talked about my need to go to the toilet during a film. That conjures up having to go down a spooky corridor.
But you know, maybe that's you're getting punished because you're trying to use the disabled toilets. You know, if you would be a good boy and go to the normal one.
Yeah, if I just went to a normal, friendly toilet, you know, where it's light and doesn't look like something from a horror film, then it would be fine. But I have to balance that up of whether the whole process of getting out your seat and going down to missing part of it, balanced by going through the corridor from hell or the corridor to hell.
Yeah.
Robin says, hearing a little boy laughing, I'm glad.
I mean,
that wasn't the first thing that sprung to mind either.
I would be I watched too many horror movies with children, so I'm not.
There's that whole kind of, but it wasn't scary.
Nothing happened like that to me. Like, I didn't see anything moved. I just had that. Oh no, that's not true. Okay, when I was sick, you know, because when you're really sick, you're closer to the other side because you're kind of halfway there. And I do think that I was freaked out when it happened, but I do think that they were trying to protect me, because all I could eat was milk. All I could drink was milk because it was easy to swallow, and popcorn. I know it sounds ridiculous because I was choking on everything else, but I had that combination. But it wasn't actually good for me for certain, you know, various reasons. And one of those days I was sitting up in my room. I couldn't move on my own. So it's not like I was just having a spasm or something like that. No, I was just eating and someone just pushed the whole thing. You know, like they slapped on it. Like they really slapped the what is it called, the cup out of my hand.
Oh God.
So I was like, oh, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah.
And of course I got scared, really, really scared. But now thinking back, I'm like, okay, they really probably tried to tell me that you shouldn't eat that. It's not, even if you think it's good for you, it's not good for you. So don't do
Do you
that.
find that paranormal things that happen in the day are easier to be around than if they happen at night? Because I always think I'm okay if something happened in the day, but if something happened at night, I think I'd be more freaked out.
Yeah, the night, because
night.
in the middle of the day you can still be like, I'm safe.
Yeah.
But in the night, I think human beings are hardwired to make everything scary in the dark. So obviously, if something like that would happen,
what's a bit weirder is that at night I'm aware of the fact how your eyes work and how your brain processes, and it's all a totally different thing to what the daytime is. So that's why you often see things out the corner of your eyes, because your black and white senses in your eyes are working better than.
Yeah.
So therefore, something happens in the daytime that's a bit more unexplainable.
Yeah.
That's what I find slightly more interesting, because you haven't got all that added pressure.
yeah.
It's a nighttime thing, or so and so's going on, and all that stuff. It's very easy when you might see something at night to go, oh, it's a shadow.
It was just it was just my mind. It's my brain.
Yeah.
And it very well could be. Like, I don't have the proof to say that whatever happened, it wasn't just like a random muscle twitch or like waking up. It wasn't just a dream, but I chose to believe that it's connected to other things. But I think it's at a certain stage or point, you chose to be you chose to either believe in these things or not, because I can explain everything away if I want to, but why would I want to? I like the idea of life after death and stuff like that. So yeah, that's true as well.
I think we have to appreciate the fact that the human brain is a very clever thing, and it's on a day-to-day basis it does us very, very well, but there's an awful lot going on in there that we aren't aware
don't know.
of. It's like it's like people, how we spot images of quite often Jesus in the toast or something like that.
Yeah, the pattern recognition. I was so happy with myself growing up, thinking that I'm so special. I see faces everywhere, and then we learned that every brain does that. And I was like, oh, I thought that I was like that was something that I did, and it was so fun. And then turns out everybody does that. So I was really disappointed by that. Like the only thing that I thought that I might have been a little unique, and then turns out that it's the most basic.
I don't know about you guys though, but I do find, like, having spoke to a few people, that like paranormal things happen a lot when someone close to them's died. And my friend, I said to her when her dad died, I said, did you have anything that use it? Yeah. You guys use it.
Just because we were talking about the brain.
Yeah. And it's weird, because she said, I said, is anything paranormal happening? She doesn't really believe in it. And she said, it's really weird. She says, a couple of things have happened that I can't explain. And she said, the weirdest one was she went shopping with her mom. And this has been a few weeks after her dad died. And at the time, do you remember when Coca-Cola had people's name on it?
Yes.
Yes.
She went to the shop and she says there was this Coca-Cola can and it was standing ahead of all the others. And she said it had got my dad's name on. And she took that as a sign, kind of thing. But my another thing that's happened, I've heard people talk about a couple of times, and I thought I'd experienced it, but I don't know if I was dreaming again. But my brother's girlfriend said that she, when her mom died, she woke up in the middle of the night because she was convinced someone had knocked on the front door 3 times. So she ran downstairs. Now, my brother didn't hear it, but she ran downstairs. She was convinced someone had knocked on the door 3 times. She looked through the peephole and she said she saw a silhouette and she thought it was her mom. She was petrified, and it really freaked her out. So my brother was like, I never heard anything, so I don't know what that was about. And then about a year later, my nan died, and he was on his own at the house, and he said that there was a knock on the door 3 times about the same night that and I looked this up on the internet, and apparently people have had experience of this when someone's died. So they say to open the door because they're just letting you know that they're okay. But I experienced it once when I was on holiday, and I thought somebody had knocked on the front door, but I just put it down to, I must have been fast asleep. But then my brother told me that had happened to him, and I was like, oh, that's weird. I was just wondering if you guys ever had anything happen when someone died. This wig is starting to look like a bob. It's starting to look more like a drag queen.
No, I mean, no, I nothing like that.
I need to fluff this up. Yeah.
But like I said, my when my grandpa died, he came back to see my grandma. So I guess nobody died who wanted to come say hi to me in that way, which I don't mind, honestly. Grandma, thanks, but no thanks. We can communicate through tarot. Like, don't knock on any doors because,
I've had a couple of things happen when people have passed on. One was I was with a friend at the time, and the person had passed away, and it was a few days later. I think it was the night before the funeral, and we were just having a drink and just chilling out and kind of just having a laugh and reminiscing. And there was a really heavy scent of lilies that came in the room, almost like somebody had come in and saying, "You're having fun, I want to come and join you, and I'm here, I'm okay." And I hate the smell of lilies because it always reminds me of funerals. And I'm very susceptible or very aware of the smell of lilies because I find it really overpowering.
It's a strong one.
Yeah. And a lot of people often say that they can smell that smell around the time of something.
They do.
It's like a visitation. That's the only time it's happened to that one, to me. I've had a white feather in the middle of my lounge floor one morning, a year on after somebody had passed away, literally, and I hadn't realised it was their anniversary. And I came in the morning, and there was a really large white feather. Now, but living at the seaside, we often have seagull feathers floating around, but this was
massive.
This was in the middle of the room. There were
no
open. There were no birds got in. My cats, or I didn't even have a cat then, but they don't go out anyway. There was absolutely no reason why this feather should appear overnight.
And your cat walked past or something, like there was a shadow walking past, right? Like
he'd been rehearsing that all day for that moment, so he's done well. So
just checking that. Just checking that that's a cat. Yeah, exactly.
Interesting, though. You talk about feathers appearing like that. Have you ever heard of the phenomena of pennies dropping from nowhere? And
no.
I've watched a lot of
I grew up with the feathers, our messages from the angels that they're thinking about you or something like that they show their support. My mom, for some reason, she always told us, so we have a bunch of, all of us, a bunch of feathers everywhere because we're like, oh, that's for me. But I talked about it in a video that I posted about my grandma, that I kind of felt like she's showing her being around as a ladybug, like through ladybugs or something. I never noticed ladybugs the way that I did after she died. And it's interesting because there was no connection, I don't have a known connection to her with that ladybug or ladybugs, not that ladybug, like that's not a specific one. But and I asked my mom if did she have something with a ladybug, but we didn't check her stuff yet. My mom wanted to keep everything undisturbed for 49 days, and then we decided that on top of that we're gonna wait until my sister comes home for Christmas. So and that's when we're gonna go through her stuff, which is always a weird thing. And what was interesting, if I can still talk because we're talking a lot, it was very interesting that my mom and we felt for about 2 or 3 days after she passed that she was still in there, in her room. And it's so interesting because we talked about it, and we were like, yeah, I feel it too. And oh, I was like, oh, I didn't know that, because I was expecting myself to feel that because I'm like, ooh, the spiritual one.
I'm pretty careful they should be coming and talking to me, and of course,
yeah,
that's not often the case.
But what was interesting is that one of my other sisters, she said that she immediately felt that she was gone when she died. And it's just so interesting because, she died once in one way, so it's not like there was a different experience, and yet she felt something completely different. And my dad says that he always expects her to be in the window when he walks past the window, and I'm like, I don't feel her in the room anymore. So it's kind of interesting how different people can experience spirits, or like, I don't even know, like presence differently.
Yeah.
And I don't know where the difference comes from, because
I think it's, for me, I just think that's personal to the relationship you have with that person. And it doesn't necessarily mean you have to have the best relationship.
No, I mean, mine was complicated. Mine is the Facebook status complicated,
Yes. Yeah.
So that's why I find it very interesting that, but maybe because I'm more open-minded because of my spiritual practice, I'm more open to see these things. And maybe I was thinking about it, like maybe my previous maybe at the previous times it happened, there was some attempt to communicate I just wasn't open to.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
It's interesting.
I haven't seen a lot of ladybugs since. It just happened after she died, like 2 days, I think. At the funerals. The funeral, it was kind of funny because, funny. we're not really religious, but she was the type of person who would want to have a religious funeral where people are like praying and stuff like that. We don't do that, and I kind of find it funny in a way that there were 2 praying mantises. One was looking over the grave. It was on the other tombstone. It was just like standing there, like the praying mantis, like, And we saw another one on our way out. So I was like, someone sent him praying mantises to pray for her, because we're not the praying kind. So nature was like, okay, we're gonna take care of the praying part. So it's like kind of funny. I think it was funny.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
I just think about how people's heightened states are when people have passed over, and how perhaps people go looking for signs.
Yes,
absolutely. I that can be a part of, but I would say for me, I wasn't looking, because the second time when one flew past me, I was sitting on the toilet. So I was like, I'm like, what was that? That was a sting bug. I'm like, I need to flee. I need to run. And then because it landed on the mirror, and I was like, okay, do I need to drop everything and run? But it was a ladybug. So that was unexpected. So, and I talked about it in my video, because there is not this deep spiritual, moment where you're sitting outside in the garden and suddenly a ladybug passed by and it's a beautiful thing. No, it's like you're sitting on the toilet and like, do I need to run? Is it a bug? So it's, in a way, it kind of makes more sense because it's part of everyday life experiences. Yes.
Surely also the nice thing is that whenever you do see a ladybug, my friend does the same thing with dragonflies. Whenever
now I'm going to think about her.
You're going to think about them, exactly. So they're never forgotten the moment you get that message or that thought. And that's lovely to have that association going on with it. Robin's talking about black-eyed children.
What?
Did you know about the
Oh.
phenomenon of the black-eyed children, straight children with no whites and no eyes, knocking
Yes.
at doors, asking to come
I
in?
heard about it.
Yeah.
We've had reports of them not far from where I live, actually.
Of course. I mean, I'm not even surprised. You
I'm not
live
going to
next
say
to some
where,
strange
but I
places.
have heard of this, and it's been in the newspapers about it. But I don't know what I think about it really, because someone did a drone over the site, and there was this figure in the woods, in the middle of some woods, in the middle of nowhere, and they thought that was a black-eyed child. But yeah, I've heard of that.
That's spooky. I think you talked about it before as well, Ben, and I think it's spooky then, and it certainly is.
That's why it's really hard, you know, and I think I don't even know if you can trust your feelings about how you feel when something like that happens, because it can be your dead loved one that just wants to come in and say hi and, you know, like tell you that everything is fine, or someone that you don't want to open the door to. So like,
Yeah.
That's why I asked you how the children's laugh made you feel, even though you're a teacher. So it could be something that you brought home from, you know, like work.
Yeah, it was a very unusual laugh. It's really hard to describe, but it was a young male, I'm going to say young male voice. And it was a kind of gurgly laugh. And that's the only way I can describe it. It was like, you know, when...
I know, when they are really, really joyful, that pure joy.
Joyful laugh. And that, again, is why it isn't scary if it was a horror
it's
film.
It's not a demonic laugh. Yeah.
But it
But
was...
Richie, do you remember, wasn't that around the time you bought some cards off eBay or something, and you thought...
my deck
from
London second-hand deck, and I have since then saged the hell out. And actually, I was going to use them this Halloween because it's a Halloween deck, and I found them really difficult to work with because the images are quite hard to interpret in dark light.
Yes.
And also, when I got them out again to have a look, I realised that they haven't put titles on any of the major arcana, which normally isn't a problem, but they've just got the Roman numerals on the top. And so the pictures, it's one of those things where you have to look at it and go, oh, where's that?
Yeah.
Oh, it's the Empress. Oh, okay. And I don't like using decks like where you have to get your magnifying glass out first to work out what you're actually looking at before you interpret it. It's a lovely deck, but it's one of those I would flick through and go, nah, put it back again.
Yeah.
It happens. Sometimes sometimes the decks you need to see them in person to be like, it's not good for me.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Or,
the opposite.
This is really a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Is everyone all right? We do a little bit longer. Is that okay? Or has anyone got to rush?
A little bit. Then I need to go.
So, Robin's saying, I think regular tarot. I can't speak again. Tarot usage has us more open to seeing images, even if only peripherally, like the Four of Cups. Absolutely.
Oh, I love that. That's a very smart remark.
You're right. And Gerald says, I think these experiences help us feel connected to those who have passed. I think it is. If it helps, it is okay. You're absolutely right. That brings me on to the last bit I was going to talk about or ask about. Yes, Tony, there is. There's two, but one's very lively tonight. He's very excited. It's Halloween. Hi, Laurie. Lovely to see you here.
Oh, it's just
my God.
I think he's clicked on the wrong button.
yeah, exactly. I mean, probably there was an exit stream next to the show next comment.
He's been exercised. Oh.
I don't know what happened there.
Oh wait, Ben doesn't have. Do I have a voice? Because
I can hear you.
Ben is muted.
Ben's gone. Ben, have you muted? Come back in, Ben.
This is a clear sign of the universe that you guys need to end the stream.
Well, I don't know what happened there. I have no idea. I got booted out for some reason. I don't know if Ben's going to be coming back, but
I don't know, because we were talking about the cat and Laurie, and there was nothing, no spooky subjects or Ghost in the
Claire
Machine.
saying butterflies appear after a loved one passes away.
Oh, yeah.
It makes you feel like a person come back. Butterflies are really lucky in the theatre, by the way. They often appear in the middle of a show. If it means it's going to have a long run. Something off the. It was the cat. Yeah. Here he comes.
Yeah.
Back again.
Sorry.
Hello. I don't know what happened.
Okay.
That was spooky.
It's just the veils thinning.
It is.
It's interesting because you got booted off and that muted Ben, so it's kind of like
I was like, oh,
in
freaky.
reaction.
What were we talking
A
about?
little bit longer, then we'll call it
Nothing
tonight.
scary.
No, I thought we might have been talking about something that might have like.
Yeah, but no, Richie was just saying hi to Laurie, and we were talking about the cat, so nothing. That was a lot more scary
Laurie
stuff.
turned up and it all went.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't want to say.
Yeah.
We're very happy. We're not blaming you at all. We're very happy.
Of course not.
Robin says, once in my teens during the night, I heard an abandoned baby crying.
Oh.
Store. Really creepy. Next day, my mum said it was just cats in heat. Probably was. Absolutely right. It was a channel takeover then. Laurie, it's lovely to have you here. I was just going to talk about or ask about one of the themes of Halloween or Samhain is remembering the ancestors, remembering those that recently passed, and remembering those. Do you guys do anything special around this season to kind of pay respects or to honor ancestors or people that have gone before us? Or for you, is it just, no, it's just part of Halloween?
I feel terrible saying this. My Halloween is watching horror films.
What a surprise.
You know, I don't really think of Halloween. I don't really. I've never really been into it that much, really, until the last couple of years. So I've never really celebrated it like most people do. But yeah, no, I can see what you mean there, Richard, because there are certain cultures that do celebrate the dead, don't they? And I think it's important to, in some ways, you know, remember ones that have passed, isn't it?
Yeah.
But in answer to your question, no.
Are you, Orsi?
I mean, for us, the 1st of November is the Day of the Dead. And that's when you're officially remembering the dead and ancestors. To be honest, even ever since I started doing spiritual stuff, I never really did anything dedicated to ancestors because I never really worked with ancestors before. I kind of feel like because of my grandma, I was thinking that I will do something, but I don't feel the need anymore. It sounds ridiculous because it's not like 100 years passed.
If he
died at the beginning of the month, but I kind of feel like it's not necessary.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and plus, I'm busy with my own, like self-centered with my own thing. There's a lot of changes in my life that I need to settle first.
Mm-hmm.
So, right now I don't want to do anything, but I'm interested in doing ancestor work, but I never really felt connected to ancestors in a way that I know other people are. And when they honor the dead or those who came before, they have a actual connection to the whole idea or ritual that they do to that thing. Or I know I can't speak, I know. But I kind of don't feel like that still. I felt like I will be doing something, but right now I'm like, nah, probably not gonna do. We're gonna probably go, as usual, go to the cemetery and check on all the graves, and that's what we usually do.
That's nice. Nice that you have that.
To be honest, it's more. It feels always more like a chore, because if you don't go, then you don't put fresh flowers or whatever on the grave, then what if the other relatives are gonna see that you didn't visit the grave and it's not tidied up and blah blah blah. So I kind of feel like it's more of a chore then. But it's different this year because we have a fresh one to visit, so to speak. So but yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing everything today, you two. It's been absolutely fascinating. It's always fascinating talking to you, but I think it's a really interesting topic that appeals to all of us, and we've got a lot to excite ourselves with. But you know what I mean? I find it quite an exciting that we've all had experiences that are in many ways similar, but also very different, as have the people in the chat here as well. So it's been really good to hear some stories. I'm just going to catch up with a few people and then we'll say our goodbyes on that one there.
And it's interesting that, I have more experiences that I would have think, because I kind of thought that I only had like one or two, and then I'm like, no, but I had more.
I mean,
it's kind of interesting.
Gerald has an ancestors altar up all year round, and it's time to refresh it. Absolutely. I love as well the stories about Gerald and his the altar. He's had some interesting things happen.
Oh, he has,
Robin says, I tried meditating to call his mum back from the other side for a visiting presence, but it hasn't manifested yet. Well, this is the time, as you know, to be doing it because, as we say, the veil is very thin. So now's the time when it's ideal to do that work if you feel in a safe environment to do so, to try that one. And I wish you all the best with that one there. And look who's arrived just as we're about to say goodbye. But it's lovely to have you here, Tanji, my darling. I hope you're really, really well. And look, we've got lots of unicorns. Forget the pumpkins and the leaves.
Yes.
We have unicorns.
Yeah. That was unicorns.
That was unicorns. Yeah, that's unicorns.
Not a squirrel.
No, that's squirrel. That's a live. Okay. International sign for squirrel. Lois says I used dowsing. It was a pretty amazing and spooky experience. I put it on my channel, but I don't want to use it much. That's interesting to do it this time. See what happens there. And Tony has put a bunch of family photos in one place in an altar. Is an altar to ancestors. Absolutely. Even if it's a case of picking up the photos, giving them a dust, rearrange them. Absolutely. It's perfect.
I kind of don't want to. I don't have an altar because I don't want to put it anywhere where anybody can look at it. I know it sounds maybe weird, but because I have a good relationship with my family, but I still want to just keep certain things, like hidden in a way. I don't necessarily want to talk about why I have certain things. So after I did my box video, it always happens. I think I have a system, I make a video about it, and the next day I rearrange everything. And now I have my sacred space kind of place hidden behind a little, what is it called, like a drawer or something, and some flowers. It's not hidden, but if you just walk into my room, you don't see it immediately. And I kind of wanted to have that. But I still think that if I would actually put together an altar, that would be when I will have my own place, like maybe one time in the future.
But your special place is perfect.
Yeah.
It's in the future. It doesn't exist. It's in the future. It's perfect.
When you go to work, you set one up on your office, on your desk. Could you imagine the first day in the job? It's like I'm clearing all of this off, and you get your incense out and your drums.
That would be
right. Have you met the ancestors?
Yeah, it's like I'm cleaning the place today. Like,
exactly.
I mean, I'm gonna be wearing all my, protective crystals and everything just in case.
Yeah. Claire's saying, had goosebumps and giggles. Thank you to all of us all. Have a grand weekend. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for joining us today. Yeah, absolutely. Some really nice thoughts there. Robin, I think I'm going to do a hashtag on favourite majorism.
Majors, I think, just
Majors.
an extra.
Oh, I have to catch. I've been away for a few days and I have lost out on so many videos that have been made at the time. And yeah, I have to catch that one up. There's a lot of love for your look there, Ben. You're being called intense.
Oh,
have you been called intense before?
I've never been called intense. For
Never were.
Really?
Well, I think people think I've got an intense room, maybe, but that's probably about it. But yeah.
Okay.
Hi, Spiritual Rain. Lovely to see you here.
Hi, Rain.
And yeah, Ben is a vampire, Danny LaRue.
Yes, I did look like Danny LaRue the other day because I contacted Tangi. I said, Tangi, this looks terrible. I look like Danny LaRue. I said, I can't even do makeup. I said, this is really bad. But yeah, she gave me some tips. So
yeah, I'm loving it. I'm liking the fact you've gone from Severus Snape to more Judy Garland.
Yes, she's now. Yes.
Which is lovely. I like how you're encompassing all my favourite people.
Yeah, so it'll be Liza Minnelli in a minute. I was thinking.
Gerald says, there's a lot of ways to have an altar that people don't know if it's an altar. I've done that in all my work locations. So there you go.
Teach me your ways, master. But honestly, I think, for example, that would be a really good video for people who are like me, who are like spiritually challenged.
I don't think you're spiritually challenged.
No.
In a lot of ways, I'm just a newbie. So I always appreciate when people spell things out for me.
No,
because
I'm the same.
Sometimes I'm like, I didn't even think about it. It's so obvious, but I didn't think about it. So.
No, I'm the same. I sometimes feel like an imposter in this community because I'm like, I don't really know anything compared to what other people know. I'm like, wow, I'm learning quite a bit here. But,
especially Gerald. Like Gerald has such a vast amount of knowledge.
Definitely.
And some people think that, their experience is like, oh, everybody knows that. No. Not everybody knows that. So
that's what's great about doing these communications and chats and stuff like that, because you can learn off one another and people putting into the chat and making videos. It's just fascinating. And, for me, I just went in as somebody that's vaguely interested in tarot, let's see around, and all of a sudden I've got trees and doing nature stuff and sabbats and things. Do you know what I mean? It's amazing how it's all
and buying books on witchcraft. So exactly.
Yes, and I like that. You see, it's great. It's great.
Yeah,
you should perhaps read a chapter a night to us, like a book at bedtime.
Yes.
Later.
Bedtime witchcraft.
Bedtime with Orsi. Bedtime.
I don't know if bedtime witchcraft is something that I want to put on any title because that's my OnlyFans,
There's a lot of love for you, Ben, as ever.
Guys.
I wear the same look and we can be twins.
Yes, definitely.
And Gerald says, making a note of it, Orsi, stay tuned. And you are not imposters. Absolutely. It's very easy to listen to the devil on our shoulders. You don't know everything. But the fact is we're sharing, and that is great. And Ryan and Tangi says, you know more than you think you know.
I know. I can hear that in Tangi's voice.
Work. I hope you have a good time at work. I hope everything's okay. And Debbie says, a little Liza. Absolutely, there is a hint of little Liza with a Z.
Always, with that hair color.
And Gerald says, I love talking to people, discovering their spirituality. Absolutely. Which is different to what other people are. You guys are coming up with some really, really great stuff. You don't have to have an altar to be a witch. Meditation.
I know.
You see,
but I kind of felt like, when you watch videos, it's very easy to fall into a place where you're like, oh, I need to have an altar, I need to celebrate the Sabbath, I need to do this, and that's how I'm gonna become a real spiritual person. And I, like a lot of people, a lot of witches celebrate the witches' New Year right now at Samhain, and I'm like, but for me, Yule feels like an ending. That's where the year ends with Christmas. So I was very, very tempted to be like, oh, I'm gonna do the yearly reading as well now, but I was like, you know what? Let's not do that. Let's do what feels good. And that was very hard and very new in a way, because okay, that sounds like, oh, it's so hard, but no, because people don't say anything bad, it's not like it's other people's fault. It's just very easy to fall into that place that I want to be like that, I want to have that experience as well, and I want to do that, and I want to do that, and then I'm not doing anything and just freaking out because, oh, I didn't do the Sabbath, I didn't do this, I didn't do the full moon reading, I didn't do the new moon reading, and I'm like, oh, there's just so many moons.
Exactly. So, oh my God, it's going retrograde, I've got to whip out the cards. Just do what's good for you.
That's very hard. Sometimes it's very hard to not go down, like that road that, oh, I need to do everything. Because you want to, because it's fun and interesting, but also it's a slow process. And sometimes it's, for me at least, it's hard to just be like, let's not be impatient.
You've got all that time to grow.
I hope so.
Spiritual training. When I first started my spiritual path, I was doing all of the, for lack of a better word, textbook stuff, and I thought it never felt right. Absolutely, do what feels right.
It's a good starting point, if you do the textbook things, because at least you can check how you feel about them. So it's not necessarily a bad thing to start following a path. It's just you have to be mindful about how you actually feel. How does it make you feel if you celebrate a full moon or a new moon or whatever?
Gerald's put it very succinctly. Being a witch is about how you are. It's not about things and stuff. You don't need to have pointy hats and brooms and whatnot. It's an approach to you being in the world. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's why I said that Gerald is very smart.
Yes.
Very knowledgeable.
Exactly.
David says, I think of it the same as reading tarot. Some read reversals, some don't. Some read pips, some don't. Absolutely, you will land where you need to be. I totally agree with you on that one, Debbie. Exactly the same. Pick and choose what works for you. Because if you follow your path, you can't be wrong. Words of wisdom there.
We're so smart.
Textbooks give information. It's how you apply what you've learned. I'm going to call this a day. But before we do that, we need to do a little plug. Orsi, do you have much coming up this next week or so?
I managed to film a few flip-throughs because I bought a few decks recently. So hopefully I'm going to post those, because I'm behind on a lot of things that I usually do. But I want to do the Cluedo, murder with tarot cards that Giselle posted recently, and some other people did the tag as well. It's where you pretty much play Cluedo with a tarot deck. So I already have the horror tarot sorted out into piles, so I'm hoping to film that tomorrow and just post a little murder story before Halloween. So but I'm hoping to get back on track, once I'm fully out of my zombie state.
I hope you get back on track soon. Ben, you got much coming up this week?
No, I've left my diary downstairs, which is bad. So I have to go off memory, which is not easy. I've got something coming up with Gerald and April, and I'm on with Kelly one more time in November. And then I'm kind of not doing much on Beneficial Tarot. I'm moving over to this new collaboration with Tanji, so I'm kind of winding down Beneficial Tarot. I'm still keeping the channel up, but I'm probably not going to be doing as much tarot related stuff that I did. I'm just kind of moving in a new direction with parody stuff and crazy stuff like that. But we're launching our new channel. I think it's going to be around the 18th of November. So I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, so that'll be fun, and then it'll just be. We won't be doing. We're not doing lives as such. It's more recorded kind of content, but yeah, it's going to be fun. I think so.
Can't wait.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Tangi says Monday at 4 p.m. EDT.
Yes, that's right. Sorry, Tangi, we're doing readings as well.
It's a good thing she's here, isn't it?
I'm so glad.
You forget the whole lot. November the 18th is the new channel. Yeah,
that's it.
Halloween curiosity reading.
That's right. Halloween curiosity readings. I'm looking forward to
that. We are long stashing on Monday with Gerald and guests. So that's over on his channel at whatever time it is. And I'm saying that because the clocks change for British summer.
Oh, yes. I forgot. Oh, no.
So, it's that time when I don't know whether I'm Eastern Seaboard time, Hawaii time, I have no idea.
It's a wooden chopping board time or like a glass slippery board time. Oh.
2 p.m. Gerald time, whatever that is, and I will just hopefully be there because he'll message me if I don't turn up to it. So that's what's happening there. But also next Friday on this channel, we are hosting Gerald's special birthday live. So please make sure you like and subscribe to all our channels. Hit the bell for reminder for all those things. So I wish everybody a really lovely Halloween, Samhain, whatever it is you do. Have a fantastic weekend. Have a great party if you're going to be out celebrating. Wishing you all the very best of the season. And do you know what we're going to do now? We're going to run my closing titles one more time. Just because I can.
Why not?
Bye.